I did my WTH evolution project on Thamoctopus mimicus, which is commonly known as the mimic octopus. Just like the rest of their octopus kin, they are very intelligent beings and are capable of changing the color of their skin. However, they also have adapted a new form of camouflage called mimicry, which is why I decided to focus on this species for the project. This octopus was first described in 1998, which is considered relatively recent. According to the IUCN Red List, their species is of least concern. However, the actual population trend is unknown to science, meaning that not only is there little known about its population, but there is little known about the species as a whole. The mimic octopus can be found in the Indo-West Pacific, on the muddy floors of estuaries, and because of this type of habitat, their main source of food are crustaceans and small fish. They are also diurnal, meaning that they are awake during the day and asleep at night. Because of this sleeping pattern, their mimicry adaptation comes in handy during the day in order to avoid and distract predators while they are out hunting. By nighttime, whichever animal burrow they last searched for food in is the one they tend to hide away in during the night. This happens every night, which means that the octopus does not stay in the same burrow 2 nights in a row. If they can't find a burrow, or chose not to sleep in one, they have also been seen gathering different items, such as shells and plants, and covering themselves with these items. This shows that the octopus is able to use its resources and surroundings in order to protect themselves from threats. So why are these creatures specifically unique? Well, firstly, they are relatively small compared to other species of octopus, only reaching about 2 feet across when fully grown. And I believe that because of this size difference, their unique mimicry adaptation had to adapt. I believe that this mimicry adaptation evolved in order to give them a different form of defense, other than just intimidation by size and strength. Along with their color-changing abilities, they are able to contort their bodies in ways that mimic several different animals. This is specific to the mimic octopus because typically when you see animals that are able to mimic others, they only have the traits in order to mimic one individual species. The mimic octopus, however, is able to mimic several different species of animals, simply by changing the way that they move and the colors that they present. These animals include flatfish, lionfish, sea snakes, and they have even been seen mimicking jellyfish and crabs. They are also unique from other species of octopus because they are able to differentiate threats that are near them. This means that they are able to identify which threat is approaching them and then decide which animal to mimic in order to effectively protect themselves. Also, unlike behaviors that other animals may show, the trait of mimicry in this species of octopus is inherited, not learned, meaning that it is passed down genetically. DNA sequencing was used to find the order in which the mimic octopus's defense and mimicry traits evolved. It was found that the color-changing patterns of the skin evolved first, which allowed them to flash color at predators in order to either tell them that they are unpalatable or in order to trick them into thinking it. Then later, lengthy arms, as well as the change in swimming ability, co-evolved. And once all these different traits, color-changing, long arms, and the ability to swim as different animals, were all well developed, they were able to be rolled together to create the mimicry trait that the mimic octopus shows today. This slide shows how the mimic octopus is able to mimic a flatfish, a lionfish, and a sea snake. It's clear to us that this form of mimicry is not exactly a mirror image, but to a predator, this mimicry will either give them enough pause to allow the octopus to dart away and hide, or even deter the predator altogether away from the octopus. Because of their ability to transform themselves into a mimic of several different animals, and even change between the many forms quickly, I find the mimic octopus a very intriguing species, which is why I decided to do my final project on the unique adaptation. I believe that the mimic octopus is just one of many species that have a unique adaptation that is specific to them. But because there is not much known about this particular species, due to its clever ability to avoid potential threats, I wanted to look into what makes them unique.